What's up, baby? This is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Make sure you tap into Black Authentic Truth for your latest news. It's great information, baby. Bomb Squad!
It's Tariq Nasheed right here in Los Angeles, making it do what it do, man. Y'all check out Black Authentic Truth. Get some real good games on YouTube. Black Authentic Truth, man. Check it out, man. Real good information.
Man, you know what's going on. It's your boy Geechee Gotti. I'm rocking with Black Authentic Truth. You want to learn something? Tune in, man. Get your knowledge up, get your history up, man. Know about something, man. You know what time it is, man. Geechee Gotti, Black Authentic Truth, man. Like and subscribe.
Black man, I have an obligation to my race of people, not to no other race or no other nationality, just to black people.
And you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that black Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs.
This is Black Authentic Truth. Hey, what's good with y'all, man? What's good, man? Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth in the house, in the building. I got a nice little show today. Nice little get down, you know what I'm saying? Man, I just want to give a shout out to, before I start, I want to give a shout out to Brilliance Wins. Brilliance Wins, I got your message. I'll be getting back to you, brother. I appreciate it for hitting me up. Listen, man, I'm going a little earlier today. And let me get a sound check real quick. Sound check. I will be going earlier because I got some business to handle, like we all do. All right, let me see. Make sure we rocking and rolling and everything is perfect, because you know there's always something. Let's see. There's always something. Because you know there's always something. Oh yes, definitely rocking and rolling. Let me share this video. I'm gonna share it, y'all.
look at it, not a chick.
You see here.
Just put his.
Yeah, let's get right into it, man. So, like I said, I gave some shout outs to brothers and sisters. I don't know what's going on, man. What's going on, but we're going to get it rocking. So, yes, Brilliance wins. I just want to let you know that I did see your message and I will be getting back to you. Also, my prayers is with my brother in Vegas. He know who he is. I ain't going to say no names, but my prayers is with him and his family. And there's something else. There's something else I was thinking about. I want to make sure that I address or say. But anyway, man, I'm going to get into this first video. Okay. First video. Black woman being called black. Okay. Black woman being called black. And let me see. I'm actually go live also from Facebook. So let's do that. All right. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, shout out to everybody, man. So let me get this first video because I'm on a time crunch, but we're going to bring out some good information. So we at. This is typical. This video is going to be typical of what we know happens a lot.
Driving like an asshole.
So let me move this. Let me remove this.
Stop driving like an asshole.
Don't try to run.
Stop driving like an asshole, you fucking deer.
See this?
Great. You know what's great?
You see
You're
this?
still going to be black, and we're not. Make sure you tell them you're a faggot. I'm still white. You're still black.
Tag is P430818.
Yeah, man. So that video is hilarious. White man said, listen, first he called her the N-word. Then he said, I'm still white and you're still black. He made an emphasis on being black, like, and being white is, that's close to God. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's close to God. Let me, I got to hear it again. Let me hear it one more time.
Stop driving like an asshole.
Don't try to run.
Stop driving like an asshole, you fucking deer.
See this?
Great. You know what's great?
You see
You're
this?
still going to be black, and we're not.
I don't know, y'all, but I guess they think like being black is a curse or something. Newsflash, I actually wish I was darker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some black people have grown up, wanting to be, wishing they had lighter skin and they had, a different texture of hair. I actually grew up wishing that I was actually dark skinned. Like, I grew up thinking like, man, I wish I was a little darker. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the insult that they think it is by calling somebody black. It's not the insult. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Okay. And are you saying that, your skin is superior? Like, when you walk out in the sun, Let's just put it this way. How long can you stand out in the sun versus me? That's the real flex. The real flex is, who does the sun love and who the sun doesn't love? That's the real flex. But I guess it was some fender bender, everyday things. And this black woman, one thing I want to address about this is also on a serious note is I'm seeing a lot of videos with sisters where there's some type of altercation and you see a sister by herself basically contending with someone, a man, or just people of another race and not backing down. Whereas, sometimes it's smart to just do it the right way, as far as just don't say anything, let them get off, let them say what they gonna say and get them back the right way, get them back in court, get them back, in a situation where you have the upper hand. Many times I'm seeing videos where women do not have the upper hand and they can easily be overpowered. And they are in a situation where the best thing to do is to de-escalate and not run your mouth. You know what I mean? And that just will keep a lot of women safer. You know what I mean? Thinking that you could actually go back and forth. Sometimes it goes left. And some people are very violent. especially when it comes to fender benders and things out and about. You never know what is going on in these deranged people's heads. And so you have to use wisdom, discretion in a heated situation. Also, shout out to you. Can't take the heat 0613. Shout out to you, right? But that's the point I wanted to make. I wanted to make that point, but getting back, it was just a fender bender. And they got out and said that. Called her the N-word, and somehow, thought that calling her black and saying that you're black, you're always going to be black, and I'm white, thought that calling black people black is an insult. On the flip side, because of the social engineering with certain words, like the N-word, and just like black, a lot of black people do have an inferiority complex. And you see that in the internalized racism when it comes to us calling people black, right? And let me point this out. So what you see, and this is funny too. This is funny if you really think about it. What you see is when black people disdain another black person or don't like another black person, or they're mad at another black person, or maybe they look at another black person, as an enemy, but in the heat of the moment, they be like, "Sub, blah, 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 with your black ass." Like it's an insult. Like black, like calling somebody black, even in a black community, it can be looked at as an insult, right? We use it in that way, but that's the social engineering. And like with these older white men saying what he said and saying black, like black is a curse. Black is beautiful. Black is great. Black is excellent. You know what I'm saying? Black is resilient. Black is beautiful. So it can never be something negative for someone to call you black. Even the N-word, right? When you look at the N-word and the etymology of the N-word really just means black. Now, of course, in America, it has a negative connotation where, from the history of slavery, yes, it does. But the original breakdown of the word goes back to Negro, goes back to Niger, which just simply meant black. So if somebody's thinking they're insulting me by calling me black, it's hilarious. It's funny. And you see, how childish they can be in thinking that, that is actually an insult when it is not an insult. Black people don't feel that way. A lot of black people, like I said, they think that the darkest hue of blackness is beautiful. And many people, such as myself, at one point in time, wish that they were born a little darker. So it's not an insult. It's not the flex that they think it is. Okay. Now, here's another video I want to go into with a sister. And I'll just give you the backdrop behind this video. So This sister made a video because she typically goes into let me remove this. She goes into the forest by herself. And excuse me. And she got backlash from Black people. Of course, you know, anytime you're posting things, posting your life on social media, people are going to have an opinion. So you have to be ready for what comes with that. And I think a lot of times people think like they're not going to hear anything negative, even if it's something that they're doing is even that thing, if it's positive, they think that they're not going to get any negative feedback. Whereas you could be doing a admirable thing, you could be doing a good thing, and people still are going to have something negative to say. You know what I'm saying? And I think like that comes with growth, and that comes with being on social media and having, you know, thick skin and having that maturity level to understand like just because you are posting something and you might be doing something good, you might be feeding the homeless, you might be doing a noble cause. There are still going to be people that's going to say negative things and have something to say that you might not agree with. Meaning everybody is not going to agree with you. Everybody's not going to see the world how you see the world. That's just not going to happen. But there were, in particular, there were Black people saying like, you know, why is she out there? There's the pros and the cons, and some of them I agree with. But why are you out there? And then people saying like, you know, why is it that Black people only have to be a certain kind of way? Why is it that we have this stigma where we can't try new things? I agree with that too. And so somebody said, well, she must have been raised by white people because she's in the forest, staying in the forest in a tent overnight by herself. So I'm going to play video. All right, let me see.
I feel anxious at the time I chose a popular.
Let me, how can I configure this? I think this is the biggest I can get. I probably can get it a little bigger. Let me see. All right, we'll do that.
Come with me on another solo camping trip. This time I chose a populated campground. I did feel anxious that there were people walking by that could clearly see that I was alone, but I simultaneously felt a sense of safety in numbers. I hiked over to the lake to do some kayaking. I love this spot because of the beautiful view of Mount Hood. Then I headed back to get a fire started. I ate my dinner and I made some nettle tea. Sleeping in the woods makes me feel so powerful and scared all at once. So I took a dose of California poppy and went to bed.
So this is the sister, right? And she said that she felt a little, you know, uneasy being in the forest by herself. Let me see. She felt a little uneasy being in the forest by herself. She took something to settle herself down and she went to bed and she's in the forest. There's a lot of opinions about doing that. And I have my opinions about, you know, a woman, a Black woman, especially in these times, being in certain places alone. Like, let me just give a shout out real quick. Shout out to you, Black Rain 303. Kanawa, shout out to you. Sister Baratha Nawa, shout out to you. Azan Abe, Azana Bay 8197. I hope I said that. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Kanawa said, I like camping also, but I would never do it alone. That's what I was going to get to. I was going to get to that. And so you had a lot of people that's going to say their negative things, like maybe she was raised by white people because only white people would go camping. And then you have Black people that's saying like, you know, the typical thing is Black people is not a monolith. Why we got to be one kind of way? To a certain extent, I agree with that. I agree with like, you know, we can experience other things and try things that are not necessarily what you would think Black people would do. But going to the forest by yourself as a woman, there's so many things that happen in the forest. There's actual people that live in the forest that been there for decades. There's been heinous crimes that have happened in the forest. There's unsolved things that, crimes that happen in the forest that have never been solved, right? And just think of it this way. I speak about Black women, all of the missing Black women, probably 200,000 at this point. The story came out a long time ago, about 100,000, but probably 200,000 Black women at this point, not to mention Black children, kids, and men that are coming up, that have came up missing without a trace. And that's in urban areas. That's in populated areas. You know what I mean? I'm talking about populated areas. Now, think about that in like a secluded area, like a forest. That's not smart. Now, if you would a group of people, maybe, I wouldn't even say 2 women. I would say about 5 or 6 women. If you with a group of people that is camping, that's cool in my opinion. But if you're going to be, a sister that is doing things like this, you have to really think about the times we're living in. I had a coworker that I work with that he goes camping, and he told me, like, there's areas that, you just don't even have phone reception. So when you're out there, you really need to be with people who know what they're doing, because you're on your own. There ain't no 911. There ain't no GPS. There ain't no Google Maps. You know what I'm saying? So in one aspect, I agree that Black people should try different things. And if you want to try something and, you think you can do it, yes, I agree. Like, that's cool to do. But at the same time, you got to use your damn brain. You got to be smart. You can't live in that fairy tale that we live in a place where things don't just happen. You know what I mean? Like, and I account that to this society has put in our heads that we're safe and secure with whatever we do or wherever we are at when we're by ourselves. And that is just not true. It is a facade. It's a fallacy to think that, you are safe, you are invincible. You know what I mean? And especially if you're just a woman out somewhere, some rural area away from main civilization, you are definitely vulnerable. You're definitely vulnerable. Okay. So let me move on to this next story. This is the Chicago mayor. Let me.
Right. We're talking about undocumented have illegal aliens. I don't know if that's
that's the legal term. I'm not going with the political.
The legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too?
Damn.
So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to.
And let me just slow it up. I'm going to start this all over again. I want to respond to some of y'all comments. Okay. So one thing I tend to forget when it comes to being on live, right, is there's a latency. So when I say things in real time, you guys are not seeing them in real time. It's like a 15-second delay or something, like 10-second delay, right? Then you add on the time that a person is going to respond, and that's like probably could be like another 20 seconds to a whole minute or so, right? And so my apologies, I wait a little longer to get a response, because when I go live, I do want to interact. I don't want to just present and talk, okay? So Kanawa said, the times I went camping with groups, white people hated to see us out there. They would drive through the camp area, call security on us, yell the N-word, all kinds of crazy things. That's definitely believable. There are places where white people think that they are the only ones that are supposed to be there. Like, there are, areas in society where whites are used to seeing themselves there. It's like if a group of Black men popped up on a golf course, people would definitely look at them and wonder why they're there, and probably even, treat them in a different manner. So that's, it's no doubt in my mind that happened to you, and when you're out places like that, the level of danger is even higher. There was just a white man, and I believe this is after Charlie Kirk, that they were in some forest. I believe it was probably in Arizona, and the white man came about two teenagers, like 18-year-olds, a white boy and girl that were just enjoying themselves hiking, and he murdered them in cold blood. But I'm saying when you're out there, it's like an idea of being free and having no rule of law in a way, because there are people out there that live out there, period, point blank. That's their whole life. I'm pretty sure there's some hills that have eyes that live out there when you get real deep into the forest. You know what I mean? So you have to just be wise and really think about it. You know what I mean? You can't be so full of life and you just want the excitement and you want the experiences that you're not thinking clearly. You know what I mean? Yes, Black Rain said it's too dangerous for her to be by herself. I agree. Sister also said this was a group of people, men, women, and children. Wow. Okay. So now I'm going to get to the Chicago mayor. Let me get to this.
Illegal aliens. I don't know if that's
Well, that's the legal term.
Well,
I'm not going
listen,
with the political.
the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too?
If
So
you
look,
want,
let's
if you
just get the
want.
language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
Now, this is the famous Chicago mayor, you know what I mean, that, you know, he said some controversial things in the past about the Mexican people, the people south of the border, brothers and sisters that was sent there to Chicago, and he is not going to spend his resources and time trying to deport them to another land when this is their actual country of origin, their place of origin. Well, right here, and the crazy part is this is a Black reporter that is, you know, calling Mexicans illegal aliens, and he corrected them and said, I'm not going to call them illegal aliens. And I guess he said that reporter might have said something like as far as it being legal and or just the term illegal alien. And he said, well, at one point in time, it was legal to call my people slaves. So what really is the difference? You know, yesterday I was out at camp and there was a white woman and her family listening to the speaking. And as I was talking about the plantation. I was talking about the experience of a family being ripped apart, meaning you're on the plantation. And then one day the master tells you that he's going to sell your child, your son, your daughter tomorrow. Someone is coming to purchase them, or your husband is being sold, or vice versa. And, you know, that family would be ripped apart and there would be no power in your hand to do anything about it. And I asked the white woman, I said, is it the same as what you see happening to undocumented people? And she agreed. She said, yes, it's the same thing. The way they're ripping apart those families is the same thing. So getting back to what this mayor is saying is like, hey, at one point in time, slavery was it was legal to call my people slaves at one point in time. So everything that is legal doesn't necessarily mean that it is right. Okay. And if anything, I want to give these people a little bit of dignity by not calling them an illegal alien. Okay. At one point in time in ancient history, white people were alien to everything. Even to America, to the soil of North, South, and Central America, white people were alien too, you know, and we go back and forth, and people in this nation go back and forth about what's right and wrong and building a wall and all of that with Donald Trump and all of that. The reality is that the indigenous North American Indian, they should have had an immigration policy for Europeans. They should have had, you know, a whole system of how they document Europeans and how they allow them, whether or not they allow them to come into their lands. But very interesting, right? Because with this Chicago mayor, typically what you see when you see a black man with a suit on and he's in front of cameras, typically you expect him to say the same old Sambo Coonish type of talk, the type of rhetoric that, you know, people in those levels talk. And clearly, he has a different perspective. It's very rare to find black people at such a high level that they actually are still a human being. You know, they can still look at a situation and say, okay, let me put myself in this situation. Very rare. Like, even if you say law enforcement and when black people tend to get positions in anything, a lot of times what happens is black people forget where they came from. They forget who they are, really. They do, until they get treated, you know, the same way, even with the accolades, even with the education, even with the uniform, even with the title, right? And they have to, you know, they have to swallow a hard pill, understand, like, even though you may have made it to these levels, you are still considered a nigga. You're still a black person. You're still judged not on the content of your character, but unfortunately on what you look like, the color of your skin. All right. So with that, this is another video I want to go into. I think is very, very important to talk about. Let me remove this.
You know, someone is highly intelligent. It's not their degrees, it's this. It's what led Oscar Wilde to say that consistency is the last refuge of the unimaginative. What he meant by that was that highly intelligent people know how to change their minds. Watch for him to say something like this. They say things like, I used to think, or that's a good point, let me reconsider. Most people double down to protect their ego, but intelligent people update their beliefs. They get more curious instead of more defensive. And they ask things like, what am I missing? Instead of trying to win an argument. They don't tie their identity to being right. And they treat being wrong like data, not humiliation. Albert Einstein also recognized this and said that the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. So here's the real flex. Being able to say, I've changed my mind without shame.
I mean, this is very relevant because as a person, if you ever had to change or you ever had to take new information and realize that you were not right, you know what growth is, okay? And many of us who have grown over the years as we matured, what we see is that a lot of people, whether it be friends, family, associates, what we see is that a lot of people have not grown. A lot of people don't have the ability to grow, okay? And sometimes it perplexes you because you're like, they have all the tools and they have all of the influences and people around them, but they don't grow themselves. They don't take on a new thought process. And, you know, it's a sad deal, but it is the reality of the Black community. When you look at the Black community, our community, my community, what you see a lot is that collectively, we have not grown. Like, we don't, like, the image of our community is like a teenager, like a, you know, or like I say a young adult. Like, you know, when a young adult is not fully mature, they're doing foolish things, you know, just the way they carry themselves, and the things that they put as important are not actually important. So in our community, we do that, you know. And like, what could you say? We look at, all right, for example, you look at the most successful people in the Black community, or the most successful, important figures in the Black community. Typically, they are part of the entertainment industry, like entertainment and sports. But in another community, the most important figures are doctors, scientists, thinkers. You get what I'm saying? So, but getting back to the original point, okay, is that I know plenty of people that in my personal life that they have the information, but when your ego is tied to being wrong, you don't want to change. If you're a person that has to be right all the time, then you don't like constructive criticism. You look at constructive criticism or somebody educating you as somebody, excuse me, as somebody calling you dumb. It's an insult to somebody who has not grown. I don't know. Am I making sense? It's an insult to somebody who has not grown and tried new things. So my thing is always be willing to learn, and don't ever think that you know everything, because you don't. I learn something new almost every damn day, you know, and I'm open to being taught. You know, there was a video that I had, it was a viral video I had with, what's the brother's name? He does interviews outside of like nightclubs and stuff. And it was random that he walked up to me and he was asking me questions, but he educated me and I educated him. His name is Michelson Renard. He educated me and I educated him. And it was an organic discourse. And when I did not know the person that he was talking about, I said, I don't know. You know, that's interesting. I'm being educated. I admitted I didn't know. But in a situation like that, a lot of people won't admit that they don't know. They'll avoid that. So if you're open to being like, you know what? I didn't know that. Wow, thank you for that. Like, if you're that type of person, you're an intelligent person. An intelligent person grows. An intelligent person can receive information, new information. An intelligent person can say, I grew up this way. My mom taught me this way. My dad taught me this way. My grandma taught me this way. My pastor taught me this. And then they hear the new information that makes more sense and say, you know what? Maybe my family was wrong. Maybe the people that I dearly love, maybe they didn't have the information, because I just got some new information that trumps everything I was raised into. And that makes a person an intelligent person, a person that can adjust and mature and that and can apply it to their life. All right. Damn, I feel like I'm a what you call it, what's some people that like pump up people? I'm a motivational speaker right now. I feel like a motivational that just came off the top of my head. That was a freestyle. Okay. Now, this next video, what I want to say is, and this will be the last video. Like I said, I had to go live early. I got 2 interviews I got to do. I do photography, videography. Okay. And so I got 2 interviews I got to do after this. So I had to go a little earlier, and maybe this is better to go live earlier. Right. And I just want to say I appreciate brothers and sisters. And once again, I want to make that announcement for Brilliance Wins. Brilliance Wins actually hit me up. You hit me up, and I just want to let you know that I did see it, and I'm going to get back to you. So shout out to you. But with this last story, a lot of times, I think I'm just going to play the story. Okay. Now, this is a scientist. young scientist and inventor, Tyron Bryant. Okay, so let me play this video. Remove this. Is there something something that I'm forgetting? Could be.
I made my own version.
Okay, I'm gonna blow this up. We'll blow it up.
I made my own version of microbots from the movie Big Hero 6. I made it from things around the house just to test out the mechanics of the device so I can maybe make a smaller version in the future. As of right now, it works by me plugging the microcontroller into my computer, and then it tries to walk across my desk, but it really doesn't get far yet because I'm just still testing the mechanics out, so I'll show you that. Yes, I think I see the problem in the code and in the mechanics. So, and really quick, I just want to thank everybody for the support they showed, liking the videos, commenting, following, and I want to thank everybody for 17K subscribers. It really does mean a lot to me, and I want to keep bringing content to you. Thanks for watching.
So, this young brother, Tyron Bryant, I've never watched Big Hero, right? But he created a walking apparatus from things around in the house, from stuff in the house. And he's writing the code for it to operate and walk and move a certain kind of way. I don't know everything about what goes into, code and all that. I know of those things, but this is the type of intelligence that we have in the Black community. This is the type of innovation, and these are the type of minds that we have in our community. Now, I bring up Tyron Bryant and people like Julian Brown, who's, making gasoline from plastic. I bring people up like that, and it's good. The reason why I'm bringing this story up is because when you hear, the talk, and recently, Commander Junior Hanna was on Jake Shill's show, and he was saying that America could give us 15% of land. Give Black people 15% of the land, and we'll be self-sufficient. And we have a lot of tools and knowledge and things that would make us great in no time. And when people say, oh, if Black people were to get land, it would just turn into Chicago. It would turn into this. How would you support yourself? How would you become great? This story right here is how we would become great, because we have young children with these type of minds and this type of intellect to create, to innovate. What a lot of people don't understand is that Black people were already doing this right out of slavery. You understand? So it's not a big deal for us to get on that level of other nations. And let me just explain it. So when we get out of slavery, I say about 20 years after being out of slavery, Black people had their own towns, literally their towns, schools, things of that nature. And so as time progressed, you get to the 1920s, the roaring 20s, and certain places like Harlem, places like Black Wall Street, Black people were very affluent at this time. And it's because of their ingenuity and their hard work, and also being segregated, and where what you got to do, and you're putting your best foot forward. You're pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, and we actually prospered. And you look at all of the inventions that Black people have had. It is an amazing list of inventions, man. Things that you do every day, things that you look at and you watch and you use them every day. It was invented or created, or the thought came from a Black person. Many people that live in society society, they don't even know all of the things that Black people had a hand in creating and doing, and why this world is so convenient. You know what I mean? Why America is so great. So you take these people and you give them, let's just say you give them the state of a few states, give it about 2 or 3 states. And over time, with the skills that Black people already possess, we would build infrastructure. And our number one export in the Black community right now, because we don't have land, is our entertainment value. Okay? Because we don't have land and we don't produce anything. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that, real, raw materials come from land. They come from the earth. And if we don't have land to produce, timber, to sell water. Somebody told me, and I could be wrong, but Nestle, they get water out of like that's freely flowing and they sell it. They don't even pay for the water. They bottle it up and sell it. But I don't want to get off the point. Okay. So anyway, you have Black people that are building, and our entertainment value, it could be an export to other countries. And you don't think these other countries would want to work with Black Americans? Every chance they get, they're exporting our style. They're exporting our athletes to come to their countries and put on exhibitions and stuff like that. So it would be easy for Black people to start to rise. And once we start to rise, we can have the land and we can have the resources to start actually producing something. But this thing cannot happen if we're a part of America. It wouldn't happen. But also what wouldn't happen is everything I just said. You know why? Because jealous whites would get all upset over the prosperity of Black people like they have done in the past. But the point is that it can actually be done. It is a mindset. That's all it is. But it can actually be done. We have the ability. We have young innovators. We have people, young thinkers. We have young visionaries. We have people who are willing to do the work and who are capable inside of the Black race. So it could actually happen. All right. It could actually happen. And basically that was the point of me bringing out this young man. His name is Tyron Bryant. He is on TikTok and he is on YouTube. Go subscribe to the young brother, the young king. All right. So with that, y'all, I appreciate brothers and sisters for rocking with me and tuning in. Like I said, I had to go earlier, but I will be back. Try to go live Wednesday afternoon, and make sure you tap in there. I'll have some other good stories to come out. Unfortunately, we don't have a Black Authentic Truth story this afternoon. Man, I wish I had one. I wish I had time to do one. And also the Black, the Black quiz, Black history quiz. Test your, you know what? Maybe I might do it. Let me see. Maybe I might do it. Let me see what we can do. We possibly can do a quiz. You know what? We'll do it. We'll do it this Wednesday. All right. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe, man. Get some rest, chill, some relaxation. Get ready for the week tomorrow. Got to go back to work Monday or whatever you got to do, man. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay out of the way. Keep it Black Authentic. All right. I'm up out of here, y'all.
Truth. Get some real good games on YouTube. Black Authentic Truth, man. Check it out, man. Real good information.
Man, you know what's going on. It's your boy Geechee Gotti. I'm rocking with Black Authentic Truth. You want to learn something? Tune in, man. Get your knowledge up, get your history up, man. Know about something, man. You know what time it is, man. Geechee Gotti, Black Authentic Truth, man. Like and subscribe.
Black man, I have an obligation to my race of people, not to no other race or no other nationality, just to black people.
And you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that white Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs.
This is Black Authentic Truth.